Hey guys, Mike Mcerlane with another episode of Workout 101 on workouttrainer.com, right here at the gym, the personal home fitness studio of Dr. Jim Stabani and myself. Today we're going to be talking about a box squat. All right, I want to cover why you're doing a box squat, what's the technique, what's the benefit. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about why you do a box squat. Now, generally, when you're doing a box squat, a lot of gyms don't have the actual boxes. We just don't have ours yet, but you can easily use a bench. Getting the fact of why you need to do a box squat is considered one of those auxiliary lifts to a regular squat. It allows you to do a couple different things. Increase the load. Generally, you can do more weight on a box squat than you can on a regular parallel squat. The other thing it does is that it allows you to understand proper depth. So it can actually help you with the technique from a regular and more traditional parallel squat, okay? The other thing that you can really focus on in a box squat is both the eccentric and concentric phases, especially the concentric phase of the movement, which means you come back up concentrically. So if you sit down, this is called eccentric motion. Down here, it really allows you to focus on that concentric explosion. The one thing about a box squat, depending on the depth of the box or the bench, generally speaking, you're not going as low, although some institutions, CrossFit, some of the places, depending on your preference, can have you going lower. Some of them even have you going down, touching a big medicine ball. But I want to explain a few things about the technique on this. So the benefits are that you can do more weight, which means you increase the load to the muscles that are affected or emphasized, help you with the regular parallel squat, and also help you with the concentric phase or increasing power on the movement in the squat, okay? The technique. Well, first of all, before you get the technique, you gotta really look at the height of the box. Generally speaking, a bench height is okay. In some cases, I would actually go a little bit lower because I would really want to get that parallel position. So as I'm straddling here, as I go down, this particular depth puts me a little bit higher than parallel, which is perfectly fine for the purposes and the nature of the movement. But if we had our boxes in here just yet, I would actually go probably maybe about 1 or 2 inches lower. Roughly around 18 inches usually is around the right height for somebody like me who's about 6'1". But if it's too high, then you're not going to get the real benefits. A lot of people have the real high boxes. They come down maybe only a 1/4 inch and come back up. That really doesn't do anything. It's a very small range of motion. It's not even focusing on the first 50% of the concentric and eccentric. Even if you're doing partial rep training, which you're focusing on the strongest points in the range of motion, you should still be going roughly about here, okay? Just if you're focusing on loading in the strongest points of range of motion. So let me show you how it looks. First thing what you want to do, if you have a bench, it's good to place the bench all the way forward. And the reason why is because if not, foot position is going to kind of be a pain in the ass. You don't want to have the box too far back to where you're really reaching back. You want to be able to straddle the surface. So you want to straddle the bench, you want to straddle the box, and so you're not missing it, all right? One of the things I see people do when they do box squats is this. I want you to notice the wrong technique that I'm doing here, okay? So the arm rack, and as they sit down, I want you to notice what happens both in my feet as well as actually when I make contact with the bench. They plop, they widen their feet or they lift them, but they get reset here and then they get a push up. And then they come down and they come and do that, okay? Anytime that you're plopping, that's not good because you're transferring the load. You don't want to plop. The goal with the box squat is to descend, sit, settle, explode. So it looks just like this. This is the correct way to do it. You unrack, get your feet set. You just go down, sit, settle, explode up. But the weight never leaves your feet. The weight never transfers to where you're actually sitting and you're letting the load transfer onto your back, okay? and to where your feet and your heels come up. You always have to have the load onto your feet. The muscles always should remain tense into the legs. So you're coming down, sit, settle, explode. Sit, settle, explode. Sit, settle, explode, okay? That's the correct technique. The reason why, again, you don't want to sit, let your feet, release the load, is because all that load of the weight, especially if you're doing heavier weight than you're normally used to, which you should be doing on the box squat, all that load gets transferred to the spine. Now, if you're not properly in place, this can happen. If that happens, that's when it all goes downhill from there. So you want to make sure that your back is arched, okay? Your shoulder blades are pinched together. A lot of people even do this where they unrack. They have the sit settling, but what they'll do is they'll come down, they'll sit settle, and then their back does this. And then they're kind of doing this with their back. Look, you got to keep your back straight the entire time. Look at my back. I'm here. I'm nice. My shoulder blades are pinched. I'm standing upright. Sit, settle. I have an anterior tilt in my pelvis. My pelvis is not like this, to where I'm hunched over. If you look at me from the side, I'm not hunched. My back is arched here, okay? I'm arching my back, coming up. Down, arching my back, sticking my butt out, coming up, okay? Any movement in the spine forward, rotation of the hips forward, can cause a lot of bad things to happen, especially in the thoracic, the middle, or the lower lumbar part of the back. When you do it, the aiming point should be right back here, okay? Right underneath to where your hamstrings and your glutes come together. That's the part that you're sitting on. You're not sitting on your butt. You don't want to sit down on your butt here, okay? Think of it if it was a dirty toilet and you don't want to, come in full contact with the toilet, all right? That's why I used to tell my athletes. You come down, it's a dirty toilet. Oh, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. Oh, I touch it. I want to come right back up. That's the idea. It's dirty, all right? You go down, you're sticking your butt out because you're very careful, right? Very careful. As soon as you feel contact, you rock back a little bit, get a little bit of momentum. Let the bench allow for a secure foundation for you just to gain momentum, but not plop and use it for leverage, okay? Gain momentum, don't use it for leverage. Come down, gain momentum, back, boom. Come back, boom, okay? That's what you want to do when you're doing the box squat. It's a very great exercise to add in. It's not to replace squats, it's to add into your squatting or your leg day. I wouldn't necessarily have you do squats and the box squat on the same day. Break it up towards another squatting movement that you're adding into the week on another time that you train legs, if that program calls for it. If you guys really don't know how to put it or insert it into a workout program, make sure to log on to workouttrainer.com. I have hundreds of workout programs that utilize not only this movement but everything else. The workout program for this exercise should be below. So if you guys want to give it a whirl to kind of see exactly how it should be executed in a structured plan, go ahead and do that. If you guys have any questions on this or anything else, make sure to ask me on workouttrainer.com by clicking above on the community section. Drop down, it says trainers for myself, Mike Mcerlane, or asking me on the Workout Trainer Facebook page. And of course, if you guys want more exclusive, insane content from the industry's best expert, check out jimstepani.com. My colleague and business partner there, Jim Stepani, that is his website, where he has exclusive content that is written by the smartest man in fitness, Dr. Jim Stepani. Until next time, guys, it's Mike Mcerlane. Take care.